And thank you for joining Havering Live, where we bring you some amazing chats. And this evening goes without sort of saying this is a fantastic chat. Thank you for joining us in association with Unleashed Live, where we bring the chat to Havering. Please support Havering Live by inviting your friends, liking and sharing our page. This evening we have a fantastic chat with 4 people who do amazing work, but that we're going to sort of be explaining a little bit more. They are from a child prevention group called Broken Dreams. So good evening, boys and girls from Broken Dreams. Thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. The first introductory will be from Sheriff. Can you introduce the team behind you, Sheriff?
Of course I can, Simon. Pleasure to have us up though, mate. Cheers for having us up. Today, guys, I've brought 3 members of my team, Broken Dreams, ever-growing team. We've got Kate Mack, who is the female that you hear behind a lot of the stings. She also is an amazing decoy. We have Grace, who is an amazing decoy, and we have our right-hand man, Joe Hunter, who is the other voice that we hear on the stings when we're live feeding and we've catching the predators.
Well, thank you ever so much for taking your time out. I know you're busy and it's all sort of voluntary in what you do, but obviously thank you ever so much for taking your time out in joining us. And hopefully, you know, the key of this evening is about prevention. There's going to be a lot of questions, and if you do have any questions, please leave the questions in the comments and the team will do their very, very best to answer them. So the first question is, as parents, what do we look for on devices to keep our children safe? That first question, can I fire that to you, Grace? Can you...
With children's devices, there's a range of things really that stem from basic phone numbers in children's phone book that parents don't know, text messages, WhatsApp messages, Kik messages, different types of apps that can be downloaded 18 plus or under, as there isn't a lot of safeguarding on apps. And a lot of children just need an email address, which they all have with online schooling at the moment. There's web browsers that you can look through and see what sites that they've been looking at. There's Facebook. Look at the friends, look at the messages, photos, images, videos that are unexplained in their photo albums. And there's also backup clouds. So even if children have deleted things, you can always check their backup clouds on their phones. If they're set up right, you'll be able to see everything they've been doing. There's different apps that can hide what children are doing. And I know that's going to be covered in another question. Yeah. So I won't go into it too much. But it's basically making sure you know what is on your child's device, because anything can come through that device and you have no idea about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difficulty regarding sort of parents and children. You know, the children seem to be so up to date with the latest apps and the latest sort of sites that, you know, most parents are only sort of on Instagram and sort of Facebook. But, you know, a lot of these children are using different, you know, Snapchat, even TikTok now must be, you know, a great favorite for these people to, you know, to entice children as you know.
There's apps that you would think like YouTube. We all know we can watch videos on it, but there is also a streaming side of YouTube that a lot of parents won't know about, and children are getting exploited on so many different platforms that adults do know about, But because it's so hush hush, this streaming, they're not going to know about it even on the platforms that they are on themselves.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you could, after this chat, if you have any information, you could sort of forward to me, and then I'll be able to put the apps and the websites that will help parents, to be able to use them to look at their children's devices. So, if you could sort of drop me a line sort of after this, I will post it.
We can compile anything that you need that will reach parents, because obviously knowledge is power, and if they've got the knowledge, they can safeguard their own children at home. So we'll provide you with anything that we can.
That's fantastic, and obviously any information will be in the descriptions above this chat, and it will be for everybody to sort of see it as well. I'm just going to sort of do Sheriff, can you sort of come in and also obviously give a trigger warning as well, please?
Yes, obviously during this live, guys, we will be discussing certain subjects. So if anybody is triggered, I would like just to say, jump off the live, and when you're feeling a bit stronger, more up for it, jump back on. We don't claim to be any support workers in no shape or form. We're just here trying to make a difference on the ongoing problem that is clearly in everybody's face at the moment. So I wanted to make that clear. If anybody is triggered by what we're talking about, take a minute, step off, jump back on.
Thank you so much. And the same question goes to you, Sheriff. As a parent, what would you like to sort of add to Grace's comments?
Well, the biggest weapon we have against fighting this is education. It needs to be pumped out to the kids, the real danger. We see this, we're on the front line of seeing this. So we're seeing this day in, day out, and we're seeing the rise in problem. Throughout lockdown, it's become horrific. The issue is there. It's until it used to be, Simon, you close your door, it was your castle, and, you were safe. And now the very fact of the matter is that your child can be sat on the sofa right next to you on a device in real danger. And the very simplest thing to stop this is to pick up that device and check it. And we do these things and we do all this for awareness, but still we don't see a mass amount of parents checking their devices. We can download all the apps you want to monitor that, but nothing beats picking up that device and checking it on a daily or, very regular basis. That is such a simple thing that needs to be done. The problem is very real, guys, and in the future we'll be holding some local seminars to try and start getting the awareness out there. This problem is growing and growing and growing, and with the ability of the internet and devices and these new apps and the apps that are coming out, it's very dangerous. And you're seeing this front hand. You're seeing the guys. We as a team predominantly work pre-teen apps, which is apps made for kids. Other teams work differently. Like some work dating sites, other teams work live apps. We work pre-teen apps, and these problems can be solved literally by a parent taking that 30 seconds to 5 minutes to check their device. That is the biggest to me, is the education, and as a parent, checking that device that you're buying these kids for Christmas, for their birthdays. When we'll be doing some more awareness on the page, but as Grace said, education, knowledge, and knowing that this problem is massive and it's out there and it's happening. And it's happening to our kids. And I never knew how bad the problem was until I started this.
Obviously, this evening's chat is all about prevention. And if we can prevent, the education, like you say, and if we can prevent one child from sort of being, spoken to by these people, then that's what we're here for tonight. There's one question has come in. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. Every time your Wi-Fi goes off, it resets parental control. I wasn't aware of that at all.
So Simon, I was going to go into this. So I've had a few claims on this that some people have to remove parental control for their kids to do the homework as well on their online. These are all things that need to be addressed. That is such a good point. Kate, I'll let you answer that one.
Kay? I think she might have fallen asleep.
Kate, you unmute your mic.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah. No problem. Did you hear what Sheriff's question was?
Go ahead again, Sheriff, for me, please.
So we're talking about. So, Simon, I've got a bit lost here. I've got two phones in my hand as I'm watching this.
No problem. We was just a question come in about every time the Wi-Fi and then the parental control.
Well, at the moment, it just seems that it has to be done manually every time, which is really annoying. But at least if you've got the knowledge and you're on top of it and you're aware of it, you can keep that parental control on. As annoying as it is, you've got to keep doing it. But until they change that problem, that seems to be the only resolution.
Yeah. Joe, do you have anything to say on that, on the first question?
Yeah, so regarding hello everyone, sorry. Simon, thank you for having us on.
No problem.
Yeah, regarding the first question, I echo everything that Grace and Sheriff said. For me, with regards to being a parent, I also think, as well as checking the kids' devices, talk to them, talk to your children, let them know, because I think some kids might think that if some strange man starts contacting them, they'll get in trouble. But if you talk to your kids and let them know, look, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not your fault. You haven't brought this on. If someone's talking to you, you need to let us know straight away. Let us know. It might be the difference between it happening for one day or it going on and then that child being groomed. If that child knows that they can talk to you and tell you that they might not know what grooming is, but some strange man has started talking to me. If they know that they're not going to get in trouble for that, there's more chance of us being able to stop it as a parent. We can then go on there, see what it is, and put a stop to it.
It's true, I mean, there's a couple of questions have come in. One from Louise: are there any particular apps that are worse than others? Joe, can you answer that? Or who was that? Sorry,
it was Kate.
Yeah, Kate, fire away.
Oh, there's definitely some. A lot of them they're not really. I've got a list of the top apps that are actually worse offenders, which your children are on. I mean, Kik, that comes across as just a normal messaging service, a bit like WhatsApp, but actually it's not. You've got offenders. You've got offenders that can just talk to your children. They don't need to. They can just literally talk to anybody on there.
Sorry, Kate. Can I just jump?
Yeah.
Sorry to butt in, but along that, what Kate's saying is, you might look at these apps and think, oh, they're kids apps. It's fine. My child's fine on it. It's a kids app, but that doesn't stop an adult going on there pretending to be a child to get on there to talk to children for their own satisfaction. So as much as they are kids apps, please don't think, oh, they're safe because they're kids apps. They're not.
I think you hit the nail right on the head there, Joe. In these apps which are geared to younger children, you automatically think that it's surrounded by younger children, but these people who want to do harm to children will prey and pretend they are a younger child.
Yeah.
To conflict their the damage and the trust and that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could I just mention something about question one? There's just one thing that I wanted to mention. One of the major problems is parents that just leave their children with the devices, and they're not actually watching what they're doing. They're using it as a babysitter. The little things like don't let them have earphones, because then you can hear what they're doing. So if there's somebody talking to them, You can hear them. If they've got the earphones in, you've got absolutely no idea.
I mean, because a child automatically, if something was said, and a parent would sort of say, "Well, who's that?" A child's automatic reaction would be, "Oh, it's my friend." But
Yes.
like you say, if you, as a parent, if they're thinking, "Hold on, that's not a friend," it seems his voice is a lot more mature than what my 14-year-old or 10-year-old is, then you know there's a problem.
Even just a voice you don't recognise.
Yeah, I mean, so if you did come across a problem, what is the next sort of step? I'm going to ask this to Sheriff. Once if you do see your child talking to someone, what is the next step, Sheriff?
So always, my advice is to block. Contact the authorities. There's so much of this going on. How much action they take, I do not know. But always contact. Get your crime reference number. Block straight away. Block straight away. The very common sense things is the obvious way forward. Blocking the profile. Call the police. Keep the evidence that you've got on there. This is the problem with the police are inundated with this at the moment. The amount of reports that come in. I mean, even I sit down with my friends and we're talking. Even very recently, one of my friend's daughters was talking to somebody on an app that wasn't supposed to be. It really is. Nobody is escaping this problem. We'll go a bit more into the detail in a sec of what the type of guys we're actually catching.
Certainly. I mean, what I'll do while you're sort of with us, Sheriff, the second question is for you. Stop It Now has launched a phone number for adults to contact if they feel they're going to harm a child. Can you give us some more information? Because a couple of weeks ago when I spoke to you, this is new. This is hot off the press.
So this was I only heard of this through. I've been hunting now for a year and a half. I've only heard of this through this program on Channel 4. So what I did do is I requested a sheet that offenders are given when they are put into the custody in the police station, and on the this has been a massive problem that's been brushed under the carpet for so long, and now it's getting in people's faces, and this is with the awareness. We have to start addressing this. As I was talking to you on the phone, I was always mind-boggled why there was never a number that somebody could call and say, "I'm about to ruin a child's life. I'm going to damage a child. I'm having these urges. Come and get me. Come and help me." There's nothing that was there. And then on this channel for the police hunting, it's just played the third series, what we'll go into a little bit of discussion with later. They've mentioned this team to contact, but it's not what we all know. If you're a drug addict, you can call Frank. Nobody knows of this number. Maybe it's a new thing, and I encourage it. I encourage it being blasted out and spread. I need to look into it a little bit more, Simon, because it's a new thing that I've heard of. This stop. Kate, you had a little look into it, didn't you, darling?
Yes. What they aim to do is to provide a service that prevents the sexual abuse of children by mobilising adults, families, and communities to take action that protect children before they're harmed. They provide support for anyone who is feeling like they're going to offend before they offend. It can also, if you are worried about your neighbour, you're suspicious, or maybe your neighbour's confided in you, they'll also help you with that. They're basically just trying to provide support to anybody before the offence has actually been committed. But unfortunately, it's not very widely known about.
No, Stop It Now. Stop It Now. What we'll do is put the link in the description above, so anybody sort of watching it and they feel this does apply to them. At least we can.
I think the thing is, Simon, we're going back to this, is when myself, Kate, Grace, Joel, we've caught a lot of predators over the last year that we've been working together. And on the stings, we always ask the question, you know you have these things. Sometimes you're a reoffender. Why are you not picking up the phone and asking for help? Why are you not picking up the phone and contacting somebody and saying, I'm about to ruin a child's life, and nobody knows where to go? That's the answer they all know. They don't know who to call. Now, even if one person called that number, it would be worth it.
They're too embarrassed to go to their GP, but with this service, it's anonymous, I would imagine, to begin with, not all the way through. So there's more chance that they'd actually go for a service like this than the embarrassment of going to the doctor.
And what's your view on that, Joe?
Yeah, I think it's a great thing to put up. Like Sheriff's already said, we do always ask, why have you not tried to, if you've got these urges and these feelings inside you, why have you not tried to seek help? And like Sheriff said, 9 times out of 10, they all say, I don't know where to go. But this, I've also had a little look into this over the last couple of days. As we said, it's new, and it looks like potentially it could be very, very good for these paedophiles, because there's sections on there, like one of the sections is, are you concerned about your own thoughts or behaviour? There's another section, are you concerned about the behaviour of another adult? So it's not just the predators that can report themselves. If you can report someone else, if you feel that maybe you go to a club or something like that and there's an adult there that might be being a little bit near the mark with the children, you can go on there anonymously and report it. And it's got a lot of potential, this site, but it just needs to be put out there. It needs to be put out there, and anyone that it has been charged with a child sex offence, they should all be made aware of this. Part of their bail agreements should be, there you go. The only problem is, a lot of the time they get told they can't go online. So where this is all online, they should be given the phone number. There you go. This is the phone number. If you feel that you're going to reoffend, straight on the line. I mean, they've got their parole officers, obviously, but they lie a lot to them. But it's an anonymous thing where it might just be a matter. I can't get in the heads of these people, so I don't really know. But it might just be they might need someone to talk to take them faults away from them. Whereas if they talk to their parole officer or someone like that, they're probably thinking, oh dear, if I talk to this person, I could end up back in jail. So there's that scaredness of talking to authority, where this is more, I think, Kate, I don't know if you've looked more into this. Is this more like along the Samaritans line? They're volunteers at the end of these lines that are there to help them. If that's the case, then it might be easier for these people to talk to them, and it might stop them for a while. It probably won't stop them forever, but it might just stop them that one time making that mistake.
At the end of the day, even if it stops one, that's one child that's been saved.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, and that's obviously, the focus on this evening's chat is, not how do you catch them and that, the focus on tonight's chat is about what we've all been talking about and trying to prevent. The focus is on about prevention and,
Absolutely, Simon. If I can just cut in, the thing is, there is an army, anyone that's listening, there's an army of guys out there volunteering across the country, working live apps, working dating apps, working preteen, working kid apps. They were across the board working it 24/7. And the problem is massive. It really is massive. And Simon, I spoke to you on the phone. The problem with a device is it gives you the ability to become something that you're not, a fantasist. Does that make sense? When we're talking about the catfishing, we're talking about this. People put up pictures of themselves. They pretend that they're rich, and they are. They lure, they groom these kids in. And you're given that ability just by a device. Nobody is themselves till they're between four walls on their own, with a device in their hand. So, you know, there's not, it's the best way to say it, you know, when you go to the schools, I know they have a briefing on it every year, but it's not drilled into the kids enough, the danger. It's seriously not.
I mean, what we'll be doing, we'll be talking about just, you know, in the next question about the numbers. And, you know, when we do talk about the numbers, it will be so scary. It's not until I sort of had a look, and this information is on Broken Dreams, which is your site. So, you know, the Broken Dreams link will be in the descriptions above. So if anybody needs some more information about what's been spoken about tonight, Broken Dreams link will be in the descriptions, and, you know, it will be on this video as well. There's a question coming. I'm going to ask Grace to sorry, not that one, this one. Grace, would you be able to answer this? If police also do not take concerns seriously, then it's very important to raise a complaint to the safeguarding team inspected to the local force. The same goes for social care. They all have a duty of care to the children. I mean, you know,
I have to agree with that statement, purely on a case that I've been chasing in the Croydon area. I have had to rant and rave and put 3 different complaints in to finally be taken serious about a massive operation and a lot of children getting abused within a church. That's as much as I can say on the case I'm dealing with. But I have put 3 complaints in, and finally, I have been put through to the safeguarding team. Been passed off by 4 officers that it wasn't serious. Going right back to November. So yeah, do everything you can, make noise. If you don't feel you're being taken seriously, take it to the next level. There's procedures put in place to raise concerns about the systems we have, because they're not perfect.
I mean, do you sort of find, Grace, that you know, different stations and different police authorities and even different councils deal with the situation differently?
Yeah, different police forces. Now, I'm quite lucky. I work with multiple different police forces right across the country, and I have a really good working relationship with them. So even at first, if they don't take it seriously, they will eventually, because I won't give up. Do forces deal with it differently? Yeah, even right down to receiving an image. One police force will tell you to keep hold of the phone, even though you're trying to tell them to take it, and another will have took it within days or hours. So they do all work different. They all have different numbers to make up and different targets to reach. So coming down from that, depending on how police forces have dealt with cases before, it kind of gives them an idea of how to go forward with our cases. If I come across police officers that I've never dealt with before, I'm telling them how to do their job. And they're quite open about it, like they will take advice, but it works both ways. If you don't feel like you're being taken seriously, make some noise.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that advice. And you know, it's, you know, great for you guys taking your time out, and hopefully, you know, the focus on this evening's chat is all about prevention. And, you know, as much details will be added in the description, and, you know, all the help you can give us. The third question is, I mean, this is absolutely astonishing, really. Andy Burrows from the NSPCC, the head of Child Safety Online Policy, said it's an estimate, an average of 90 potential online abuse crimes against children come to light. So it's crystal clear that regulations cannot come soon enough. That's 90 potential online abuse crimes, a day. And also from the Channel 4 programme, which was aired yesterday, it's estimated that 500,000 men in the UK have viewed child abuse material, and it's only grown over the pandemic. Kay, can I bring you into sort of that statement? I mean, them figures are huge, aren't they?
And those figures are only the ones that have been reported or that are known about. So when you look at, say, a Facebook profile, so you've got different profiles of these sites, and what you find is predators put an indecent image of themselves as their profile picture. Your child has not even got to open a message from somebody before they see an indecent image. So those ones won't be reported. Generally, they don't get reported, but that is still an effect on a child that's seen an indecent image. I mean, you're talking about children as young as 6, 7, that, there is going to be some sort of effect. Nobody knows, I don't believe that nobody knows the true figures. I did see a programme where it said that there were 60,000 children that are being contacted every day. So that's a big difference between 60,000 and 90.
Yeah.
Massive difference. But yeah, it's vast. It's vast.
Yeah, I mean the numbers are just. I personally, and no doubt most people who are watching this would not, believe in figures. But I mean that's they are there. Them figures are there. Joe, I mean, what's your view on the third question?
See, do you know what? Doing what we do, you see the level that these people go to. And the scary thing is, when you look at those numbers and you think 90,000 children are being contacted daily, and when we see, and it's not a gradual process, sometimes they're straight in from 1 or 2 comments into a conversation. They are straight in with absolute vile filth, disgraceful comment. You just think, there's kids like Kate just said, as young as 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old that are being subjected to this. And I didn't realise until I started doing this. I didn't realise. I knew there was a problem, and I knew that these adults are coming on and they're sending images and stuff. But the actual level that they go to, it's sickening. And I can't believe them numbers. That's happening daily. It's so scary. So scary.
Yeah. Sheriff, what's your view on?
I think Kate hit the nail on the head. That's what's reported. I think if you doubled that, you'd be more accurate. But at least that is what is reported. It is horrific. Simon, we've known each other a long time. You've cut my son for a long time. I've been doing this for a year and a half. You've seen me catching people on our doorstep. A school teacher that's just coming through on our local grounds. You've seen me catch 4 or 5 predators within our doorstep, walking distance from our doors. It's the numbers that are always put on statistics is what is reported. Kate hit the nail on the head. That is just what is reported. A lot of incidents ain't reported. So you could double that, treble that, and you'd be more accurate on a daily basis. It's we're trying to find the answers, mate, and only all of us getting together. But the biggest responsibility lies on the internet providers, the people making a lot of these apps. I won't mention the app names that we police, but a lot of these apps, they kind of almost feel like they're made by nonces for nonces, and in that way is, they delete themselves. The messages would self-delete after 24 hours, and it's very scary. It's really scary, and some sort of signing it. Although you'll never beat it, some sort of signing in process, some sort of signing in ID card has to come about. It there has to be a time when people have to say, or the big money makers have to say, right, you know, we need to show that we're putting regulations on this. When you're signing into kids' apps, maybe that number that we've just been talking about, that stop number, should be broadcast on every child app that before you sign in. You know, we're trying to find the answers, Simon. What we do know is we're catching them left, right, and centre, but we can carry on catching them. We need to try and tame the problem, slow the problem.
Definitely need the apps on board, though. Whilst Decoy,
I mean, there's
some of the apps. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, Case.
Some of the apps, they will actually ban some of the adult predators because they've broke the law and said something inappropriate or shown an inappropriate picture to a child, but they'll ban them for 30 days and then they'll let them back on the app again, which is a child app. I mean, that doesn't even make sense to do that.
No.
As well, along those lines, Kate, you know what gets me as well is you see them, obviously yourself and Grace as Decoy see this more, but they'll get banned and then they'll just rejoin again under a different username and actively seek out that child. They should be banning their IP addresses. As soon as you've done that, they should be banning their IP address from that site, and then they can't get on there unless they go somewhere else. But they can't do it from home. If they're doing it from home, it's just so easy. It's so easy for them to say the wrong thing, get banned, but then join straight back up again. We see them all the time actively seeking out the same kid.
Grace, I mean, what's your view on the final question?
The numbers that I was given, I went looking at the statistics. Now, the number of 90 children a day, it's actually 4 times that amount. It's equaled into a percentage of 4.8 children. That equals the 90 children of the UK population. As Kate said rightly, that isn't to do with what isn't reported. Also in that number is it's not counted in that number is non-contact sexual abuse, which includes every child and every decoy that is groomed online. So we are not in that number. They've estimated it if they took the unreports into that number and the children that get flashed, because that's non-touching. That's not classed as a touching form of abuse and online grooming. And it's 16.9% of the UK children population, not the 90 children a day we believe it to be from the NSPCC statistics.
Wow. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, a question has come in, and obviously homeschooling at the moment, these people must be sort of having a field day. Sarah Ann says, we have found that parents have taken off parental control due to online schooling. It's just sometimes you couldn't sort of make it up. Sheriff, I mean...
So, Simon, can you put that question back up? Can you pin drop that question again for me?
100%.
Yeah, thank you.
We have found that parents have had to take off the parental control due to online schooling. I mean, obviously, this online schooling and the pandemic was sort of thrusted upon our lifestyles. But surely the safety aspect should be, there before this pandemic, surely.
Massively. It's going to have to be addressed. The more we discuss this, the more issues are pointed out that I didn't even know about. When I originally started this, I we started this, and I think we all, when we're doing these things, when we're doing this, we do it for the awareness. We do it to take Sarah's Law to the next level, so everybody knows whose hand they're shaking next door, and who they're meeting, and who is around their kids, and to stop them people working around the children. But we can do this week in, week out, week in, week out. There has to be a point like we're doing today where you've taken the time to talk to us about prevention, and prevention is the biggest thing. Education and prevention, prevention is literally the biggest key we've got to fight in this. I don't have the answers, but we're trying to get them. And everybody working together, everybody working on the front line, everybody trying to put some small links together will help.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's, you know, like we keep on, you know, reiterating about this evening's chat is all about information about the prevention. If we can prevent these things happening, then obviously, you know, like you've said, Sheriff, when we've had our chat before, catching them, you know, you can catch these adults every day of the week, but it's the prevention that, you know, is needed.
Simon, every child knows to cross the road, to look to the left and look to the right. Okay, they're taught that at school. It's drilled into their head. The same should be done with education online now. Online is becoming the future. It is the future. And unfortunately, with that comes this pandemic that we are going through now. And the kids having knowledge of this is the biggest key. Educating the kids, showing them the real dangers out there. Because as a child, Simon, we had this chat. The smallest things that happen as a child can imprint on your life for the rest of your life and control and make you who you are. So when you got survivors, when you got abused children, it changes their life forever. It's a life changer, and whatever we can do to prevent that and to stop that happening to that child has to be a good measure. And with everybody coming together, with the bigger companies, the bigger money making organizations, and everybody working together, we can slow the problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's somebody on the chat at the moment. This comment has just come up. Hopefully, you can all see this, you know, and hopefully you'll be able to sort of help this person. I'm just waiting for one to come out. I'm going to sort of kill him. I mean it. You know, can you guys see that comment?
Yeah, I'm going to have someone. Joanne, I will put my link to my profile in here afterwards. You're welcome to inbox me. I kind of feel like talking about this over live wouldn't be appropriate, so I will talk about this in an inbox with you, and maybe get you some one-to-one care if you need that, darling. Like I say, Simon, if you can put my link to my hunting profile in after this and the page. We've got 2 pages up and running. We've got the Broken Dreams, which is the awareness page, and we've also got a Dark Secrets, which is really the darkest taboo subjects. So you're welcome to message about any of them, or message me personally, and I'll have a good chat with you about that. I can feel the anger in that sentence, so I will discuss with you.
Joanne, please.
Can I pick up on something Sheriff has mentioned about education?
Yeah, go on, Grace.
So I took it upon myself to start looking into what is in the curriculum for children these days. What online grooming education are they getting at school? And there is no current framework anywhere on the internet for children in the UK to be taught anything about online grooming. The closest I got was bullying online. But that doesn't touch the subject of what to do if they're sent messages or if they're asked for images. Why are we not educating children at school on something that is so dangerous to them, just as they're taught to look left and look right when crossing the road?
And
everything they do these days is online. So why are we not educating them?
And I think in schooling, I do believe that, you know, rather than sort of talking about it once a year, you know, it should be every month, if not every quarter. You know, Joe, what's your view on what Grace has
Yeah, I
just
was
said?
just going to comment on that. What Grace said, she's absolutely spot on. Like my children are local. Obviously, we're Havering, aren't we? So
Yes.
this is local to us. My children, they had a police officer that's assigned to their school, and I speak to my kids, and I said to my youngest, like, "Have you had any education on any of this?" And he just said, "Oh yeah, the I don't know what you'd call him. He's sort of like a police liaison officer that's assigned to the school." He just come in at assembly one day and just said to him, "Oh, be careful if you're online. Speak to your parents or contact us." There's no real. They should go into it and give them real details of what to look out for, what to avoid, what if someone says something, if someone asks you to do something. There's no. It's that I think they skip around it. I think they're scared to do certain things.
I mean,
go on. Sorry.
I do believe that, you know, the teachers, not all of them, because obviously, you know, there are some teachers who do prey on the vulnerable, but you know, there are teachers who any kind of information that comes from the children, they do pick up and they do, you know, but like you say, just someone coming in and it just off the cuff education, it needs to be a lot greater than that, doesn't it?
Do you know why I think it should be done at school? I mean, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's got to be done at home. Parents are responsible. You've got to tell your children. But personally, for me, I think it needs to be drilled in at school as well, because for the best will in the world, and I don't mean to be rude or horrible, there's a lot of parents out there that either don't know about it or are not the best parents in the world, and they, like Kate mentioned earlier, they get the babysitter out, the iPad, and stick them in a corner and don't worry about them as long as it keeps them quiet while they're watching the telly. So there's a lot of parents out there that, and I don't mean to, like I said, I don't mean to be horrible, but there's a lot of uneducated people out there that probably don't know what to tell their kids, and they're not the best parents in the world, because a lot of them are kids themselves now, aren't they, that have got kids. And so it needs to be done in the schools where there's a proper education system where they know there's a set rule. So everyone in the whole country, it's part of the curriculum. This is what we teach the kids. This is what we tell them. We show them the dangers, the pitfalls. I mean, the internet is an amazing place. The internet is fantastic. You can find absolutely anything, wonderful things, but there is also a real dangerous side, dark, dangerous, horrible side to the internet. I mean, it's one of the best inventions ever, but also one of the worst.
Yeah.
Simon?
Yes.
Just quickly, I don't know if you see on your live feed, there's a comment from one of my favourite people in the hunting community, Izzy Hunter. Is that shown on your comments?
Izzy
Hunter.
What I'll do, Kay, can you, what's your view on that?
Can I run through a list of apps, maybe for parents to look out for, or to even check their child's devices to make sure they're not using them?
Yeah.
So you've got Periscope, and all this information will be put on our page, Broken Dreams page. But you've got Periscope, which is a live streaming site, which I'll explain about in a moment. Tinder, I'm sure everyone's heard about that one, dating site. There's a lot of children on there. Not supposed to be, but is easy access for children. Therefore, easy access for predators. Ask.fm, which is a question and answer site, predominantly for 13 to 17-year-olds, but it's absolutely littered with inappropriate content for the minors. Omegle, this is an infamous one. It's absolutely awful. This is also a live streaming site. And it works by randomly pairing two strangers together on a live. Stranger after stranger will appear on your child's screen. And to be honest, it's potluck with you have another child on your child's screen or a predator, and a lot of the time these predators are popping up on your child's screen. How do I put it politely? Self-gratifying, let's say. And there's a hell of a lot of coercing your child into copying the adult behaviour. They also film it, and then they can also share it around. So it's really dangerous. The live streaming sites, I cannot explain how dangerous they are. Chat roulette is basically the same principle as Omegle, but it's actually known to be worse somehow. 30% on that site are minors. So every 100 people on that site, 30 of them are children, and they're all communicating with each other. 4chan has a lot of inappropriate content, but is for minors. I've already spoke about Kik. There's also something called the secret photo calculator, which looks like it's a just normal calculator on your child's phone. So when you check your child's phone, you see a calculator. What it actually does is the paedophiles can hide files, indecent photos, indecent videos on there for your child to view without you knowing. That they're Keith Albo, an American psychiatrist, he actually states just one line from a passage he's wrote: a paedophile's paradise, which is exactly what these sites are. It's a playground for these paedophiles. Some of the things that you can do is you've got your game consoles such as PlayStation, Xbox, and the likes. They have their own parenting controls, but you can, if you go onto your app store, you can actually download an app so that you can keep an eye on what your child's doing, who they're talking to, who's contacting them, and you can do it all via your own mobile. Some of the best apps to get on your phone, one's called Net Nanny, N-E-T, Nanny, parental control. Another good one is Norton Family, Norton. They're the top two that I've found. And a couple of these, MM Guardian, Kaspersky, not quite sure
Yeah,
that one. Our Pact, and then there's one ESET, just the initials, parental control. But there is so many things now that you can do that are actually helping you to keep your kids safe.
I mean, when you, after this chat, Kay, if you would be so kind to, put them links on the comments, then obviously what I'll be able to do, I'll be able to link them into the main description as well. If you'd be so kind to do that.
Yeah, that's no problem. Put on our page as well.
Sorry. Yeah, I also want to say something we haven't mentioned as well. Facebook. If your kids are on Facebook, make sure their profiles are locked down fully.
Yes.
Don't let their profiles be public, because what you find is, as well, and your own profiles, because what does everyone do? Kids at school, they take a picture in their school uniform. You get that picture, that badge, they know exactly what school they go to. Kids are always put in, like, I don't want to use the word sexy because it's not, but I mean the provocative poses that the kids do, like with the duck lips and the victory salute. They're doing all these poses and putting them on their Facebook and stuff. This is perfect. This is what the predators want. So if they're on, I mean, I don't think kids should be on Facebook before a certain age anyway. I don't think they're allowed to anyway, but they do. So if they are, then profiles have got to be locked down fully. Make sure they don't accept friend requests from people they don't know.
The thing is that the pictures can be manipulated as well. So you'll have a truly innocent picture of a child in a school uniform. I've witnessed myself on Kik in some of the group chats on there, and they are manipulating innocent children's pictures into something that is obviously abusive and illegal.
Yeah.
And that can be done to anybody's child. If that Facebook is not locked down, anyone can get a picture of your child and they can literally do anything to that picture.
Do you know what, like you say that about the manipulation? I don't know if you've all seen it, but I've been absolutely amazed. There's an app out at the moment. I don't know what it's called, but it puts you.
So-
You forget your
so-
face when you can make people sing, can't you?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Right, that is unbelievable. Now, if you imagine that, and it looks real, it looks like these people are singing. Now, like Kate said, if they can do that with just a picture and pressing a button, imagine what someone can do with Photoshop to that child's image, put it on different body, different poses, all stuff like that. It's scary what can be done, all for
Yeah.
self-gratification.
Definitely.
And the thing is, I think we're so sucked into the social media side, isn't it? You know, if someone puts a like on the picture,
Yeah,
it gives that satisfaction of that person, you know, liking me, and that's the thing with like Instagram and that that the more, if you get 100 likes one day, and the following day you get 150, it boosts, like it gives you that feeling that I'm popular.
Simon,
Ego.
without cutting in, you're exactly right. It's very sad that we've got to a point in our lives where a comment or a like or anything on Facebook can control your mental health to a certain point.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really can. And you know, that's a good point that you've just raised there. Sorry to cut in on you.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, there was like Joe, I believe it was Joe who spoke earlier about, you know, the people who are making these apps. I mean, there was a program on Netflix, and it was a guy from Google and a guy from Facebook. And you know, on like WhatsApp, when you get the three little dots, you know, he invented that because his job was them three little dots going up and down triggered. Oh, look, they're looking at my post. They're going to reply to my post in a minute. And these people, like you say, are employed to give us that feeling. But the problem is that it's taken in such an horrible way that people abuse the good out of it.
yeah, you're spot on with that. It's just it's crazy. You know, I was talking to someone the other day, and how I was a 90. My youth that I remember was a 90s baby. So really, no social media really never come into it. But it is crazy now, you know, how a like or a love heart on your pictures or something like that can really control your mental state. It's crazy.
And these people prey on it.
Absolutely, and that is the main thing.
Can I pick up something in the comments? And I just want to stress this really. Sarah Ann Howarth has put, but these parental apps won't work whilst doing online schoolwork. Now, we're not saying these apps are going to prevent your child from stopping the abuse. These apps you are going to have to work with. As adults, you are still going to have to check your devices of the children. So when they're online, Sarah's deadly right here that they're having to take the parental settings off. So parents are going to have to be dedicated to looking after their children and getting them back on, watching their screens. Because at the moment, while they're doing schoolwork, they are vulnerable. And until something is done about it, parents are going to have to step up.
And also, you know, there's this great question that has come in. You know, we talk about sort of homeschooling, but the problem with this lockdown is that, you know, no one is allowed to sort of go out of their house. So what they're doing homeschooling, and then from there they're going on to Xbox, and you know, I don't know if any of you can read this question about I've read a young lad was groomed using his Xbox in Grays in Essex. He unfortunately was lured to his death. You know, it's just terrible.
Do you know what? On this one, it's probably the wrong word to use, but the documentary on this was brilliant because it really showed like how someone that, like the guy that lured, was his name Breck or Brock? I think,
Yeah.
I think it was Breck. But
Yeah.
the guy that lured him was like, he was offering him a job as a so the kid was well into his Xbox, and he was offering him a job as a games designer and stuff like that. And he wasn't even what you'd call a typical predator, because he was around the same age. There wasn't a massive age difference between the killer and poor Breck. There was a difference, but not a massive difference like what we normally see. And the way he lured him in, and the that documentary was like really hard hitting, and you see the level that these people go to.
I think that really opened a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah.
So it's not just about these sort of apps then, you know. I mean, we automatically think that these people are, you know, going onto Facebook or TikTok to sort of lure them in. But, you know, there's another question coming from Suzanne Palmer. Xbox and PlayStation Live games are really, really bad. But someone like me who's never ever turned on an Xbox or a PlayStation, you know, it can be a frightening experience.
Do you know what is, Simon? It's anything that can connect to the internet is a risk. And it's a horrible way to look at it, but anything that's got an internet connection, a predator's got a way in. And it's scary. And that is the games consoles, because, I mean, I'm like you, I'm of a generation that grew up without games consoles. I've never really been into games consoles. If I wanted to do a racing game, I'd go out to a proper racetrack and use a car or a motorbike. If I wanted to play football, I'd go over the park with my mates. Games consoles are not me, but my kids love them. Kids absolutely love them, and it's scary to see them. They're on like that Call of Duty and games like that, and they're talking to people in America, all over the world, and you just think, it's fantastic that it's possible. It's amazing to have that technology in this world, but you look at the dark side, like I said before, and it's scary that anyone in the world can come into my kid's bedroom without me knowing.
I mean, there's a question just coming from Tony Towers, who says, you know, this broadcast, what we're talking on now, you know, is brilliant, but only 30 to 40 viewers at the moment on subjects like this, you know, that should be out there. So what I would ask every single person to do who's, you know, been on this, share it. You know, when you share it, add 10 of your friends, because then, you know, people will, you know, be able to sort of.
Can I jump in?
Share it, yeah.
So we obviously fire up a lot of things when we catch these guys and they've come to meet a child. We fire up a live sting, and we tend to find thousands of people watch this thing. We talk about prevention, and we talk about stopping it and what we can do to control the situation. Far less people seem to be tuning in. We need to really get together. We need to realise it's not car crash entertainment. This is kids' lives. It's kids' lives. It's not about a live sting and catch them. We take that for the awareness, so everybody knows who they're dealing with. And we do that for the conviction, so they can never be a workaround kids, so they can't be around the kids, so they get the jail sentences. But there has to be a much bigger audience in the fact that we want to prevent this happening. This is our kids. It is our kids, and that is a very, very good point that was made. You know,
I mean, that was one of the reasons, Sheriff. Like, you know, I've known you for a long, long time, and you know, one of the reasons of tonight's chat, you know, we can see stings going on every day of our life. You know, on our phones, we can see them every day. But you know, tonight's chat was to get a little bit deeper to parents and make them really, really understand of what these people are about. And like I keep on saying, the focus of this chat this evening is for parents to listen to this and think, you know, we can help preventing any more of this stuff going on.
Absolutely, Simon. And over the last 6 months to a year have been completely chaotic with this COVID situation. We were fully going ahead with trying to get some seminars sorted. Our intentions as Broken Dreams is to start some local seminars, get people there to see the problem, to show them firsthand the adult side of it, and eventually trying to break into mainstream schools if we can do that. It's a very hard thing to do. If we can do that, I don't feel there's any better people than the people that are actually on the front line to explain it to the children in the right way. But yeah, so moving on into the future, as Broken Dreams, we will be throwing some local seminars when this pandemic's ended, when everybody's back to normal, when everybody's working again. We will be throwing some local seminars to get this point out there, to show people what we are seeing. At these seminars, they will be for over 18s to start with. And it's to show the parents what is actually going on under their noses. I did say earlier on, Simon, it used to be, going back to when we were a child, you shut your front door unless anybody come through it. You were pretty safe, weren't you? We were all safe. It was a man in his castle, but a man defending his castle no more. It's not just shutting his door. It literally is that online device. That online device is changing so many lives. It really is.
I mean, this is, we've been chatting for way over an hour, and, we could be chatting all night. But what I'm going to do is, if I'll just put another comment on a primary school in Doncaster had their live video lesson hacked by a group of predators, and they got through. I mean, that is just unbelievable.
How hard it actually is to keep your children safe, because it is everywhere, and they are even hacking into or they're making films for children on YouTube, and then halfway through the film there's something that the child shouldn't be seeing, and it is so hard. So you really do need to, as a parent, listen and do everything you actually can possibly do to keep your child safe.
Yeah, exactly.
What is shocking about all these different apps is, so some GP surgeries, obviously, with being in the pandemic now, they do video calls. Now, one that I personally do with my GP is then one that, as a decoy, I got sent by a predator to join him on the same level that my GP surgery video consultations were on. So the difference between people, the professional and the predator, were on the same website, using the same links. They are everywhere now. It does not matter where we look, they will be there, waiting for your children. And until parents get the education, they can't educate their own children. Schools aren't doing it. So we have to make a stance at some point.
That's right, exactly. And a chat like this is what it's all about. Is there anything anybody would like to say before we sort of wrap up this evening?
Yes, Simon, I'd like to say, guys, we're all local. This is a local feed. A lot of people know myself personally. Anybody that would like to join in the movement to stop this, please feel free to welcome message Broken Dreams, whether you want to be security or decoys or play a part in it. If any survivors that are listening would like to talk about their stories, you're welcome to message Dark Secrets. That's a page that's set up to literally talk about, it is what it is, the darkest taboo subjects. We've brinked on the subject tonight, Simon. There's some very dark points to what we talk about and where this goes. So if you tune into Dark Secrets, you will see the deepest, darkest debates that are being taken place, to try and put the links together, to try and help with the prevention, to try and get some answers. Even though to me it's like trying to understand cancer, you're never going to understand it, but you can understand that a little bit more, you're going to slow it down. So all of us mucking in together, all of us doing our part. Before I do go, my team that's joined us tonight, Joe, Kate, Grace, love you all to bits. Simon, known you for years, you know I love nothing but love for you. I've enjoyed myself tonight, and it's nice to talk to you, Simon. Guys, Joe, Kate, Grace, you've been amazing. Love your answers.
Thank you ever so much. I mean, any Grace, Joe, Kate, would you like to sort of say something before we go?
Just from me, again, thank you for all the questions coming in. Thank you for all the support. I mean, a lot of people, if you don't know the community side of what we do, there's a lot of hatred towards what we do. And a lot of people say we do it for egos and stuff like that. But I do it because I just want my kids to be safe. I want other kids to be safe. And the support we get, I want to say thank you, but I'm not saying thank you because, oh yeah, it's great, I'm getting all this admiration. I don't want that. But thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support we get. Without, it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say without sounding like I like the gratitude. It's not that at all. But
I think what it is that, you know, by people taking notice and listening to what you're saying is the reason you do it, because you want to protect your children and you want to protect other children.
Yeah, I mean, like we've said all along, education is key. And if our little bit of awareness stops just one child from getting groomed, getting abused, getting whatever happened to them, then I can sleep well in my bed knowing that I've helped protect children.
Yeah. Grace, the final comment from you?
All I can ask everyone is to share what we're saying. Like, even if people don't have a Facebook talk to them, you know, open a dialogue up of this situation we are constantly battling, because until people do listen and will be open to hear this subject, we won't get anywhere.
Lovely. Thank you for your comments. Kay, your final comment as well?
I'd just like to ask anybody, whether they're on Broken Dreams or not, please go and like the page and share the stings that we do, because it is for awareness. It's to get predators' faces out there so people are aware of who they actually have living next door. So they can, you know they need to protect their children. You know, they know if they're living near schools, which happens a lot. People at the school know to protect their children. Just please keep sharing and sharing for the awareness. It's much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us, Simon.
No, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Sheriff, a final word from you?
So the final thing I wanted to say was, guys, anybody listening local to us, any survivors, the reason we do this for the kids. We do this to protect the survivors. We do this for all the things to stop this happening to kids. But for the survivors, you know, we always say on these things, you know, one of the biggest things that happens with survivors is this insecurities in relationships and the acceptance side of things. My inbox is always open for any survivors. You want to talk to me, I will put you onto some good aftercare. I'm not a qualified guy, but I can put you onto some good aftercare, because I will say this one thing before we go. When you start talking about what has happened in the past, you accept the past, and then you can move on with the future. So, you know, Dark Secrets, Broken Dreams, my inbox, we're all open. Contact us, we'll get you the help. At the very least, we'll be an ear to listen to. Simon, thank you for having us on.
It's been an absolute great pleasure, and I'd like to thank you individually for taking your time out, for joining us, and it's been a fantastic chat. And the only way this chat is going to get sort of even better than what it's been tonight, if you could share it. So if you could share it, and all the information that has been sort of spoken about tonight will be in the descriptions above. So if you want to sort of maybe volunteer, or you want to sort of help these guys, you know, Broken Dreams, and information will be up there. So once again, from Havering Live, I'd like to say thank you to Grace, Joe, Kay and Sheriff. Thank you ever so much. Keep safe.